The House will come to order. The pledge today will be led by Alec Van Eaton, Rachel Mullen, Hannah Carter, and Dylan Brown from the Classical Academy, Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Mr. Kohler, please call the roll.
It's on. Representative Arndt, Becker J, Becker K, Becker K, hi. Representative Brown, Buck, Buckner, Carver, Conti, Coram.
You're supposed to be wearing a suit.
No, not today. Court, Danielson, Del Grosso, Dorr, Duran, Esga, Everett, Fields, Foot, Superman, Janal, Hamna, Humphrey, Joshi, Kagan, Klingenschmidt, Kraftthap, Landgraf, Lawrence, Lebsack, Lee, Leonard, Lontine, Lundeen, McCann, Melton, Mitch Bush, I cannot say your word. Moreno, Navarro, Neville P, Nordberg, Pabon, Peterson, Primavera, Priola, Rankin, Ransom, Rosenthal, Rupe. Good morning. Ryden, Sane, Salazar, Sias, Singer, Thurlow, Tyler, Van Winkle, Vigil, Willett, Williams, Wilson, Windholz, Winter, Wist, Young, Madam Speaker.
65, right?
Yes, I have everyone.
With 65 present, we have a quorum. Representative Sias.
Madam Speaker, I move that the reading of the Journal of March 31st, 2016 be dispensed with and that it be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
You have heard the motion that the journal be adopted as corrected by the chief clerk. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Announcements and introductions. Are there announcements and introductions? Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, Representative Joanne Winholtz and I have an announcement and an introduction, and I thought if I brought a baby down with me, you'd pay more attention, because he's so cute. Members, we have the community leaders from Commerce City here that are part of Leadership Commerce City. We have Mayor Pro Tem Renee Bullock here from Commerce City and all of the participants. These are the community leaders and activists that make our community great. Please help me welcome them to the chamber.
That's only a $2 fine, Representative Moreno.
Even with the
And
baby?
please proceed, Representative Winholtz.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also want to remind everybody that Commerce City is one of the fastest growing communities in this state. And so to have a strong leadership team is exactly what we need. So once again, welcome.
Representative Lundeen.
We can come back. Can I have Ashton? Colleagues, you all know Ashton Robert Stanley Garnett, yes? He is the wonderful son of Representative Garnett, and he's helping me hold your attention here at the well as I introduce you to the 18 members of the AP government class from the Classical Academy in Colorado Springs. 4 of them led us in the pledge here earlier this morning. They're here with their professor, we'll call him, their instructor, former FBI agent, Bob Frick. Thank you for being here, folks. And I'll keep Ashton.
Further announcements and introductions. Representative Mitch Bush and Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. Today, among many other things, besides being April Fool's, is Colorado Mountain College Day, CMC Day. Woo! At the Capitol. Some of you may not be familiar with Colorado Mountain College, but it's an institution that serves over 20,000 students throughout the Western Slope. It provides students with an education close to home that is high quality, that is very reasonably priced, and that can provide everything from a 4-year baccalaureate degree to specialized training. CMC has for many years partnered with local businesses to provide job skills training that the businesses need, that employees need, and that folks who need a job need. Let me introduce you to some wonderful people, and then I know that Representative Wilson has a variety of things to say as well. Here with us this morning, and I'll just name them, and there are 3 elected officials, so I don't get fined for them. So I'll start with the elected officials. Trustee Glenn Davis, Trustee Pat Klober, Trustee Patty Theobald, and then our wonderful President, Carrie Hausner-Besnet, and our CFO, who is also our CEO, and then we also have Dr. Matt Gianeschi, who is our COO, and Jill Schmidt, who is our admissions representative. CMC provides high-quality education for everyone, and it's recognized nationwide as the best value in education. So let's welcome these folks. Woo-hoo!
That's only a $2 fine, Representative Mitch Bush, yes. Please proceed, Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to make sure that you understood I'm not responsible for Representative Mitch Bush's fines. Colleagues, just on behalf of CMC, I would like to thank you for your support of the bill that helped them with that large regional problem that we have and getting to those meetings and so forth. And please stop by and introduce yourselves to them, and you'll learn a little bit more about CMC and why it was so critical that we passed that bill. Also, I would like to point out that the CMC area includes very great skiing, but just south of their area on Monarch Pass is the best skiing in Colorado for the best bucks, and you don't have to fight I-70. So see you there this weekend.
Representative Mitch Bush.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Yes, indeed, it is Friday, and we already started the ski report, so I'll continue with our Friday ski report. We've had snow. We've had lots of snow, which means not only great skiing, but also means water for our state. So one place you might think of is Vail, like nowhere on earth. Or you might go skiing at Beaver Creek, home of the Birds of Prey downhill, or you might travel on over to Steamboat, which has great tree skiing, champagne powder, and a family atmosphere. But wherever you go skiing, it'll be fabulous.
Further announcements and introductions. Representative Brown. And Representative Hamner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and we would like to, Representative Hamner and I would like to introduce and welcome to the floor the president of Western State Colorado University, Mr. Greg Salisbury. Would you please stand up and let's give him a big welcome.
Representative Hamner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We're delighted to have not only Colorado Mountain College here today, but Colorado Western State University. And we do have a bill signing later this afternoon. We're really pleased to be part of that with you. So welcome, everyone.
Further announcements and introductions. Representative Singer. And a good friend.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm not just trying to get your attention here. I know you're all smiling at somebody other than me, perhaps Gwendolyn Singer here. But yes, and she and I are here to remind you that April is Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month. You all have pinwheels at your desks to hopefully remind you that kids should have happy, successful, productive lives and not have to live in fear. Join me today with Governor Hickenlooper and Miss Colorado on the West Steps at 11 a.m. to get this month kicked off in the right way. And I think we might have another person here as well. Thank you guys for wearing blue.
Representative Ryden.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, I want to remind you that today is the deadline to make your reservations for the United Veterans Committee of Colorado Annual Awards Banquet. It is Sunday, April 10th. It will be at the Renaissance Hotel on Quebec Street. Reception starts at 3:30. Dinner starts at 5. The keynote speaker is the Honorable Robert Bob McDonald, who is the Secretary of the Department of Veterans Affairs. So if you want your questions answered about the VA hospital and other matters, please do attend, and keep in mind that veterans from all over Colorado will be there from your districts, and we hope that you can be there to greet them. Thank you so much.
Further announcements and introductions. Seeing none, the next order of business is third reading, final passage of bills. Members, please take your seats. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1101.
House Bill 1101 by Representative Young, also Senator Lundberg, concerning medical decisions for unrepresented patients.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1101 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1101. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 40 ayes, 25 noes, and no excused, House Bill 1101 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1354.
House Bill 1354 by Representatives Mitch Bush and Becker J., also Senator Sonneberg, concerning authorization for a school district to impose an additional mill levy for the sole purpose of funding capital construction and maintenance needs for the district without borrowing money.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1354 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1354 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 53 ayes, 12 noes, and no excused, House Bill 1354 is passed. Co-sponsors. Close the machine. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1377.
House Bill 1377, by Representative Primavera, also Senator Lambert, concerning the creation of a task force on the collection and security of digital images of evidence of child abuse or neglect.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1377 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1377 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 51 ayes, 14 noes, and no excused, House Bill 1377 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1405.
House Bill 1405, by Representative Hamner, also Senator Lambert, concerning the provision of payment of the expenses of the executive, legislative, and judicial departments of the state of Colorado and of its agencies and institutions for and during the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2016, except as otherwise noted.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1405 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1405 on third reading and final passage. Representative Del Grosso, Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I won't make this too long, members. We spent an entire day debating this yesterday. I just wanted to once again say thank you to our representatives on the Joint Budget Committee. I can't say enough the hard work that the three individuals from this House do. So much more work than probably most of us will actually know. These guys spend most of their summer, most of their fall. They're in here early mornings, they're in here late nights after we've already gone home, and they're continuing to do lots of work. And so I want to personally say thank you to the three of them. And I also want to say thank you. I know it's third reading, it's probably inappropriate, but I'm going to say it anyway, to Mr. Ziegler and his staff over at the Joint Budget Committee as well. Those guys do a ton of work as well, and so I want to say thank you to Mr. Ziegler and his staff. When we first started this session, we heard from the governor. He had put out a request, and that request had talked about lots of cuts, and it was looking like there was going to be a lot of doom and gloom. It looked like there was going to be large cuts to K through 12. There was going to be large cuts to higher ed, across the board provider rate cuts, cuts to transportation. And the majority of that, the work from these individuals and our friends in the Senate as well, they were able to avoid those cuts. They were able to hold harmless our education friends, and they actually did a lot of good work. There is a lot of good stuff in this budget, and I think that they did a lot better job than actually even I thought they were able to do. And so I'm still a little frustrated with this bill. I think there is a $50 million hole in there that we filled by cutting transportation. And to me, transportation has been something that every year that I've been here, I've argued for more transportation funding. I've fought for more transportation funding. And we've finally seen a year where we can actually put money into transportation. And yes, we are putting money into transportation, but it is a significant cut to transportation. And overall, there are some good things in this budget, but I still think there are some things that we could have done better. We're funding some bills in here that may or may not be good programs, but the reality, as I have said all along, we need to take care of our current obligations before we go and spend money on either expanding programs or starting new ones. And I think this budget allows for the expansion and the starting of new projects before taking care of our current obligations. I will be a no on the budget as a result of that, but I encourage all of you to decide if you feel like this budget was put together and they did the best they could and that is the best for the state of Colorado, or if they could have done a better job with that. Thank you.
Representative Hamner.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker, and Mr. Minority Leader, thank you for your comments. Thank you for thanking the Budget Committee. We, I think, do really great work together. It's almost as if when you're on the Budget Committee, you're not a Republican or a Democrat, a senator or a representative. You're just doing the work of the budget and trying to make it work. And so I've really grown to appreciate my colleagues on that committee. I really appreciate all of you, too. As I said yesterday, when we bring the budget to you after all the months that we spent with it, I know it's the first time that for many of you, it's your first time to really get actively engaged in the process, and you did yesterday, and I appreciated that. And some of you look like you haven't moved since last night at about 9 o'clock, but at any rate, I do ask for a yes vote on the bill. I'm sorry that Mr. Minority Leader expressed his comments against the bill. I know that we still have work to do as it goes through the process. We'll get a full debate and hearing in the Senate. Most likely we'll end up in conference committee, so we'll have the opportunity to hopefully resolve any unresolved issues that are remaining out there. And like Mr. Minority Leader said, I too am disappointed in some of the things that didn't make it into this year's budget. I'm disappointed that we weren't able to invest more in higher education. Yes, we didn't have to make the $20 million cut, but we haven't been able to invest in higher education to help them even keep up with inflationary costs. I know we have Colorado Mountain College and Western State here today, and I'm worried about what impact that might have on rising tuition to our students. So I'm not happy about that aspect of the budget. I'm not happy that we had to cut funding to hospitals and that the federal match was also lost in that reduction. I'm not pleased, as Mr. Minority Leader said, that we weren't able to make the full Senate Bill 228 transfer, that we landed in the middle with $150 million invested in transportation. Yes, it could have been $200 million, but we have to balance a budget. I wish we could have put more money into our schools. Yes, we kept the negative factor flat. Yes, we were able to slightly increase per pupil funding, but we still have a looming negative factor of $830 million. I'm not happy about that either. We weren't able to give our state employees raises. We weren't able to offer merit increases for our hardworking employees that deserve that increase. But having said that, I'm here telling you that we have a budget. It is balanced. When we started this process, we were looking at terrible cuts. We didn't end up having to make them because we have smart people on the Budget Committee. We have great staff advising us. And we made what I believe are the best decisions that we could have made given our constraints that we're operating under in budgeting in the state of Colorado, and I ask for a yes vote.
Representative Rankin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's been an honor to serve on JBC. It was a great experience until 8 o'clock last night when I got fired. But I'll keep my remarks fairly general. I first of all want to thank Chairman Hamner. It's been an exceptional year of leadership. We've been on schedule. We've stayed in process. We've had great debates and compromise. It's been a good year. I also want to especially thank Senator Stedman, Senator Lambert for their history of JBC. Together, they probably know the balance in over 100 cash funds and what they're used for. I mean, it's very intricate. And certainly the staff. I mean, for me, working with that staff and Director Ziegler, I mean, I've had a lot of jobs in my life, and it's one of the highlights of people to work with, so I want to continue to call that out. I want to make a special plea to my own, and I'll look to that side of the aisle. I am thinking of what I tell my constituents. I'll be in Grand Junction at 8:30 in the morning, and I'm already thinking about what I want to tell them. I want you to think about what you want to tell your voters, the people who voted for you and the people who didn't. Do you want to make a list of things you don't like? Do you want to tell them what your priorities were? Or do you want to say that we together balanced the priorities and came up with a darn good budget for the year? We pulled off some miracles, really, to keep that $150 million of new funding in transportation, $159 million of new funding in education, over and above last year's negative factor. Do you want to tell them that we're able to work together for the citizens of Colorado, for 861,000 students in K-12, 20,000 poor souls incarcerated? Or do you want to tell them that you're grumbling because you couldn't move $3 million from new programs to transportation? What do you want to say when you stand up in front of the people of Colorado and tell them about this budget? We have the most complicated budgeting process in the United States, and we came through it, and we've got a good budget. So think about what you want to stand up and say about it. So I urge a yes vote. I want this to be a bipartisan bill. Thank you.
Representative Young.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I don't want to reiterate everything that's been said so far, even though I agree with it. I thank the work Representative Rankin brings to the table, his expertise, and certainly Chairman Hamner has done a stellar job of shepherding us through this process, and I thank her for that. But you know, it isn't done just in isolation. I want to thank the minority leader and the speaker for their leadership within this chamber, and the leadership in the Senate as well, because it isn't done in isolation. It's a group that works together, and it isn't just those folks. I think back to November and December when I saw many of you come to Joint Budget Committee hearings and briefings and really weigh in on the important issues. We don't always have the expertise to understand every facet of the budget. And I want to just appeal to you to stay engaged in that process. That's what makes this process work, is it is year-round. And with your occasional involvement with the budget all the way through the year, it does become a good budget. I do think we have a great budget. I urge and I vote for the same reasons that you've heard both Chairman Hamner and Representative Rankin articulate. And I hope that you will look past even the 1 year to 2 years to 3 years down the road. We can make substantial changes to our budgeting process. We can make substantial changes to the way we impact the daily lives of people in the state of Colorado if we get the long view going. Thank you.
Is there further discussion on House Bill 1405? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1405, the long appropriation bill. Mr. Kohler, please open the machine, and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 39 ayes, 26 noes, and no excused, House Bill 1405 is passed. Co-sponsors. Close the machine. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1406.
House Bill 1406 by Representative Young, also Senator Grantham, concerning Department of Corrections reimbursements of expenses of county coroners in connection with making an appropriation.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1406 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1406 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine, and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 65 ayes and no noes, House Bill 1406 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1407.
House Bill 1407, Representative Young, also Senator Steadman, concerning the continuation of the Medicaid Payment Reform and Innovation Pilot Program in connection with changing the timeframes, eliminating the repeal date of the pilot program, enhancing the reporting requirements of the Department of Healthcare Policy and Financing, and making an appropriation.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1407 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1407 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 39 ayes and 26 noes, House Bill 1407 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1408.
House Bill 1408, Representative Rankin, also Senator Steadman, concerning the allocation of cash from revenues to health-related programs in connection with modifying and streamlining the allocation of tobacco litigation settlement monies by replacing the current two-tier allocation system that includes both percentage-based and fixed amount allocation of settlement monies with a single set of exclusively percentage-based allocations, replacing settlement monies funding for specified programs with marijuana tax fund funding, allocating additional settlement monies to the University of Colorado Health Sciences Center for Cancer Research only, transferring a specified amount from Children's Basic Health Plan Trust to the newly created Primary Care Access Fund on July 1st, 2016, and making and reducing appropriations.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1408 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1408 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 51 ayes and 14 noes, House Bill 1408 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1409.
House Bill 1409, Representative Hamner, also Senator Lambert, concerning the transfer of $42,800,000 on June 30th, 2016 from the Unclaimed Property Trust Fund for state programs.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1409 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1409 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 46 ayes and 19 noes, House Bill 1409 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1410.
House Bill 1410, Representative Young, also Senator Grantham, concerning matters related to the location where competency evaluation is conducted in connection with making and reducing appropriations.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1410 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1410 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 36 ayes and 29 noes, House Bill 1410 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1411.
House Bill 1411, Representative Rankin, also Senator Steadman, concerning the supportive residential community program operated at the Fort Lyon property in connection with requiring a longitudinal evaluation of the program and making an appropriation.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1411 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1411 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 54 ayes and 11 noes, House Bill 1411 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1413.
House Bill 1413 by Representative Rankin, also Senator Grantham, concerning the financing of the Water Pollution Control Program in connection with making appropriation.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1413 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1413 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 54 ayes and 11 noes, House Bill 1413 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1414.
House Bill 1414 by Representative Rankin, also Senator Stedman, concerning the assessment of a monthly surcharge on customers of voice telecommunications providers to fund telecommunications relay services for telephone users with disabilities in connection with making appropriation.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1414 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1414 on third reading and final passage. Representative Jay Buckner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Under House Rule 21C, I'd like to be excused from the vote.
You are excused from the vote according to the rules. Further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote on the passage of House Bill 1414. Close the machine. With 39 ayes and 25 noes, House Bill 1414 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1415.
House Bill 1415 by Representative Hamner, also Senator Stedman, concerning the manner in which the state funds driver and vehicle services by the Division of Motor Vehicles and the Department of Revenue in connection with making and reducing an appropriation.
Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1415 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1415 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 35 ayes and 30 noes, House Bill 1415 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1416.
House Bill 1416 by Representative Hamner, also Senator Lambert, concerning the transfer of money from the general fund to cash funds that are used for states' infrastructure.
Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1416 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1416 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 36 ayes and 29 noes, House Bill 1416 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1417.
House Bill 1417 by Representative Hamner, also Senator Lambert, concerning capital-related transfers of money.
Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1417 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1417 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine, and members, please vote. Close the machine. With 65 ayes and no noes, House Bill 1417 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1418.
House Bill 1418, Representative Rankin, also Senator Stebbins, concerning a transfer from the marijuana tax cash fund to the general fund.
Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1418 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1418 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine, and members, please vote. Close the machine. With 54 ayes and 11 noes, House Bill 1418 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1419.
House Bill 1419, Representative Hamner, also Senator Lambert, concerning a reduction in the amount of the general fund reserve required for the fiscal year 2015-16.
Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1419 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1419 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine, and members, please vote. Close the machine. With 39 ayes and 26 noes, House Bill 1419 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1048.
House Bill 1048, Representative Primavera, also Senator Lundberg, concerning modifications of the Business Enterprise Program to be administered by the Department of Labor and Employment under its authority to administer vocational rehabilitation programs.
Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1048 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1048 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine, and members, please vote. Close the machine. With 50 ayes and 15 noes, House Bill 1048 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1336.
House Bill 1336, Representatives Hamner and Rankin, also Senator Dominic, concerning the creation of a single geographic rating area for health insurers to use when establishing rates for individual health insurance plans.
Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1336 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1336 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine, and members, please vote. Close the machine. With 54 ayes and 11 noes, House Bill 1336 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1379.
House Bill 1379 by Representative Kraft Tharp, also Senator Martinez Jimenez, concerning the criteria under which the State Board of Psychologists examiners may award professional development credit for specific activities currently included in the continuing professional development program for licensed psychologists.
Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1379 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1379 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine. Members, please vote. Close the machine. With 55 ayes and 10 noes, House Bill 1379 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1309.
House Bill 1309 by Representative Valentine, also Senator Marble, concerning a defendant's right to counsel in certain cases considered by municipal courts.
Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1309 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1309 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine, and members, please vote.
No sponsor from Lotus. Okay.
Close the machine. With 45 ayes and 20 noes, House Bill 1309 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1396. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to lay over House Bill 1396 to Monday, April 4th.
The motion is to lay over House Bill 1396 until Monday, April 4. Seeing no objection, so ordered. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1337.
House Bill 1337 by Representatives Vigil and Quorum, also Senator Scott, concerning the appellate process governing a district court's review of final agency actions concerning groundwater.
Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1337 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1337 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine, and members, please vote. Close the machine. With 59 ayes and 5 noes, House Bill 1330, did I say, oh, it's 60 ayes and 5 noes. House Bill 1337 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1335.
House Bill 1335 by Representatives Pabon and Melton, also Senator Stebbins, concerning the unlawful sale of certain publicly provided government services.
Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1335 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1335 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine, and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 47 ayes and 18 noes, House Bill 1335 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to proceed out of order for consideration of Senate amendments to House bills.
The motion is to proceed out of order for consideration of Senate amendments to House bills. See no objection. We will start with the Senate amendments to House bills. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to lay over House Bill 1231 to Monday, April 4th.
The motion is to lay over House Bill 1231 until Monday, April 4th. See no objection. So ordered. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1258.
House Bill 1258 by Representative Melton, also Senator Lumberg, concerning the posting by court clerks of process when a respondent is served by publication.
Representative Melton.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1258.
The motion is to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1258. Please explain yourself, Representative Melton.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Well, the Senate thought that they were being wise and smart and decided to add in the words "and may post" the documents online instead of just "may post" the documents online. With that, members, I would ask for an aye vote.
You've heard the motion and the explanation. The motion is for concurrence. Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 65 ayes and no noes, the House Bill 1258 Senate amendments are concurred with. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1258 as amended.
The motion is for repassage of House Bill 1258 as amended. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 65 ayes and no noes, House Bill 1258 is repassed as amended. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1316.
House Bill 1316 by Representative Rosenthal, Senator Cook, consider the procedures for changing venue for proceedings relating to a child placed in the legal custody of a county Department of Social or Human Services.
Representative Rosenthal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House adopt the Senate amendments to House Bill 1316.
The motion is to pass Senate amendments to House Bill 1316. Please proceed, Representative Rosenthal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So, members, this is a very small change. We just took out the word "not." So, regards to a case and how long it should stay open for regarding children and their change of venue.
Is there discussion, further discussion? Seeing none, the question is concurrence on House Bill 1316. Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 65 ayes and no noes, House Bill 1316 is concurred with. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1316 as amended.
The question is the repassage of House Bill 1316 as amended. Representative Quorum? Okay, the question before us is the repassage of 1316 as amended. Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Rankin. With 65 ayes and no noes, House Bill 1316 is repassed as amended. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1255.
House Bill 1255 by Representatives Quorum and Vihal, also Senator Baumgartner, concerning additional methods to manage forests to secure favorable conditions for water supply.
Representatives Vihal and Quorum. Please proceed, Representative Quorum.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to concur with the Senate amendments.
The motion is to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1255. Who would like to explain themselves on this one? Representative Vihal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In the same fashion that the Senate does not really like to work a lot, what this bill does, it just makes it into a study, and I guess they have to relax and rest over there. So they didn't want to do any work, I guess. So with that.
Representative Quorum, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, yeah, I do. I see we're being harassed by the youngest Democrat in the room, so I think the best thing to do is shut up.
Is there any further discussion on concurrence on House Bill 1255? Seeing none, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 65 ayes and no noes, concurrence is passed on House Bill 1255. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1255 as amended.
The question is the repassage of House Bill 1255 as amended. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 65 ayes and no noes, House Bill 1255 is repassed as amended. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1198.
House Bill 1198 by Representatives Pabon and Wilson, also Senators Tate and Kerr, concerning computer science courses fulfilling certain graduation requirements.
Representative Pabon.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move that we concur with the Senate amendments. I'm very disappointed in that.
The motion is to be very disappointed to move to concur on House Bill 1198. Please proceed. Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It really pains us to be here to concur. So we finally figured out that it gives the Senate longer to sit in their plush recliners and debate if they can find something wrong with our bills. All they could come up with on this nearly perfect bill was let's give schools the least amount of time possible to address the enactment. So with that, I would urge an aye vote on concurrence.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, the question is concurrence on House Bill 1198. Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 64 ayes and 1 no, concurrence is passed on House Bill 1198. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1198 as amended.
The motion is for repassage of House Bill 1198 as amended. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 55 ayes and 10 noes, House Bill 1198 is repassed as amended. Co-sponsors. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to lay over House Bill 1183 to Monday, April 4th.
The motion is to lay over House Bill 1183. Seeing no objection, so ordered. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1224.
House Bill 1224 by Representative Lundin, also Senator Woods, concerning child abuse involving human trafficking of minors.
Representative Lundin.
Madam Speaker, so as this bill was passing unanimously out of this House over to the other body, we were working on an idea, a small tweak to the bill. And the Senate decided that that was a great idea, and therefore I would move that we concur with the Senate amendment.
The motion is to concur with Senate amendments on House Bill 1224. Please proceed, Representative Lundin.
Thank you. As you recall, this bill deals with human trafficking being treated as abuse. The amendment would give county departments of social services the option, the ability to, but not the requirement to interview the person alleged to be responsible for abuse and neglect. And if in case they do that and prepare a report on that, they would also previously confer with law enforcement. It is, in fact, a good amendment. And I urge your support of it.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote on concurrence on House Bill 1224. Close the machine. With 65 ayes and no noes, House Bill 1224 is concurred with. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader. I've been up here too long.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1224 as amended.
The question is the repassage of House Bill 1224 as amended. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 64 ayes and 1 no, House Bill 1224 is repassed as amended. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1262.
House Bill 1262 by Representative Williams, also Senator Cook, concerning measures to improve peace officer hiring in connection with requiring employment waivers as part of the background check process for a person applying for a position as a peace officer who has worked as an officer and giving the post board the authority to deny certification to an applicant who entered into a deferred agreement.
Representative Williams.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And, you know, I may find myself in that other chamber in the near future, so I want to move that we concur with the Senate amendments to House Bill 1262. And I think we have some turkeys in the room.
The question is concurrence on House Bill 1262. Please proceed, Representative Williams.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, we had some amendments. We wanted to make sure that we decide how it would be best to protect the files that are released on background checks. So you can either provide copies or law enforcement can review those files in person. And secondly, we wanted to define the administrative files to exclude files not needed like medical related data. And I ask you for an aye vote.
Is there further discussion on concurrence on House Bill 1262? Seeing none, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 64 ayes and 1 no, concurrence is passed on House Bill 1262. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And because I may be going to the same place as Representative Williams, I guess I better move for the repassage of House Bill 1262 as amended.
I may start ruling these amendments out of order or motions. Anyway, the motion before us is repassage of House Bill 1262 as amended. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 65 ayes and no noes, House Bill 1262 is repassed as amended. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1263. Oops. Sorry about that. Stand down. We need to do co-sponsors on House Bill 1262.
Oh, we got one.
Now, Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1263.
House Bill 1263, Representative Williams, also Senator Ulibarri, concerning updates to the statutory prohibition on profiling by peace officers.
Representative Williams.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House concur with the Senate amendment to House Bill 1263.
The motion is to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1263. Please proceed, Representative Williams.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, for the purposes of defining, profiling, and updating the statute, we added the word solely, the practice of solely relying on race, ethnicity, gender, national origin, language, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, age, or disability. And I ask you for an aye vote.
Is there discussion on concurrence? Representative Salazar.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Here's my concern with the word solely. We've seen throughout the many decades of anti-discrimination laws the word solely used in statute. And here's a good example. In age discrimination cases, that's what you have to prove, is that the person's age was solely the factor. Well, then that means that the employer can create so many other different factors. Say, well, we didn't solely rely on age. We relied on X, Y, and Z other reasons. And as a result, people over the age of 40, individuals who are in their 50s and are of a protective status, they can't get jobs, they can't prove age discrimination cases because they have to show that it was solely the factor. It allows individuals to create practically anything to get out of the word solely. And that's the problem with the Senate's amendment. It is such a dangerous word when it comes to issues of race and when it comes to issues of discrimination solely. That means that there couldn't have been any other reason whatsoever. And law enforcement will always find some other reason. So I have great respect for the bill sponsor and this legislation, but this word is dangerous, and there's historic precedents to demonstrate how dangerous it is. I will ask for a no on the concurrence.
Representative Melton.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, I actually asked for an aye vote on this. This was negotiated very carefully with stakeholders. And while I'm not necessarily thrilled with the word solely, I understand the need for it in this bill. If there's a witness that describes the general physical attributes of a person and law enforcement is looking for that person, without the word solely, law enforcement wouldn't be able to apprehend that person unless they were catching them in some other crime as well. And so while I do also share reservations with the word solely, I do understand the need behind it. So with that, members, I would ask for an aye vote.
Is there further discussion on concurrence on House Bill 1263? Seeing none, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 61 ayes and 4 noes, concurrence is passed on House Bill 1263. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1263 as amended.
The question is repassage of House Bill 1263 as amended. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 49 ayes and 16 noes, House Bill 1263 is repassed as amended. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1264.
House Bill 1264, Representative Melton, also Senator Johnston, concerning prohibiting the use of a chokehold by a peace officer.
Representative Melton.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. Since I do hopefully plan on staying here in the House, I ask for as many hisses as I can get as I ask to concur with Senate amendments. So I move to concur with Senate amendments to 1264.
The question is to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1264. Please proceed, Representative Melton.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In the Senate, we actually had this discussion here in the House about whether or not a law enforcement officer should interject if there is someone being harmed with serious bodily injury or bodily injury. But we decided to forego making that amendment or change here in the House. They decided to go ahead and make that change in the Senate. I do agree with the change that if a law enforcement officer is seeing someone who's in jeopardy of bodily injury, that they would be able to step in and, if need be, use a chokehold. And so with that, members, I would ask for an aye vote.
Is there further discussion on concurrence on House Bill 1264? Seeing none, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 65 ayes and no noes, concurrence is passed on House Bill 1264. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1264 as amended.
The question is for repassage of House Bill 1264 as amended. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 51 ayes and 14 noes, House Bill 1264 is repassed as amended. Co-sponsors. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to proceed out of order for consideration of resolutions.
The motion is to proceed out of order for consideration of resolutions. Seeing no objection, so ordered. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to lay over SJR 16002 to the end of the consideration of resolutions calendar.
The motion is to lay over SJR2 to the end of the consideration of resolutions calendar. Seeing no objection, so ordered. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of HJR 1011.
House Joint Resolution 1011 by Representatives Nordberg and Ryden, also Senators John and Holbert, concerning the reappointment of Diane E. Ray to the position of State Auditor.
Representative Nordberg.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move House Joint Resolution 161011.
The motion is to adopt HJR 1011. Please proceed.
Members, it's incumbent upon the legislature to appoint the position of the state auditor. And we're fortunate once again that our current state auditor, Diane Ray, has submitted her name for consideration. She has done an absolute fantastic job leading that organization and truly serving as kind of an oversight for our state government. As chair of the Legislative Audit Committee, I can't just tell you how much I appreciate her hard work and her help for all of us dealing with some very partisan issues in a very nonpartisan way. And so I would respectfully ask for your support and truly believe she is deserving of another 5 years as our state auditor.
Representative Ryden.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And as the Vice Chair of the Audit Committee, I concur with Representative Nordberg. I just want to point out one of the paragraphs in the resolution that talks about some of the recognitions that Auditor Ray has received. She was named one of 3 women to watch in the Experienced Leader category by the Colorado Society of Certified Public Accountants. She was awarded the 2015 Leo Reitmeyer Award as the top public administrator in the state by the School of Public Affairs at the University of Colorado, Denver. And she's presently serving as president of the National State Auditors Association. She has just made our work so much more efficient and easy, really, because no matter what question we have, she has an answer. She is hands-on on these audits, and they are complicated projects, as many of you know if you've sat in on the audit committee or served on the audit committee. And she just never misses a beat in terms of knowing what's going on in her office, knowing why something happened, why something didn't happen. She's just a pleasure to work with, and so I heartily endorse House Joint Resolution 1011 and ask for your support.
Is there further discussion on HJR 1011? Seeing none, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Cord. Close the machine. With 65 ayes and no noes, HJR 1011 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of SJR 20.
SJR 20 by Senator Crowder, also Representative Vigil, concerning the spread of noxious weeds on federal land.
Representative Vigil.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move SGR 16020 and ask that it be read at length.
Please proceed, Mr. Kohler.
Whereas invasive noxious weed species have overrun National Wildlife Refuges, NWR, in Colorado, including the Baca National Wildlife Refuge, the Alamosa National Wildlife Refuge, and the Monte Vista National Wildlife Refuge, because federal law is not being enforced. And whereas the Monte Vista NWR, established in 1952, contains 14,804 acres, and the Alamosa NWR, established in 1962, contains 12,026 acres, and the two refuges were administratively combined in 1979. And whereas the Baca NWR, established in 2003, contains 92,500 acres. And whereas since 1952, the Monte Vista NWR has continued to purchase land without the tools, personnel, and funding to adequately manage the noxious weeds on the acres obtained. And whereas according to Section 15 of the Federal Noxious Weed Act, each federal agency has a duty to designate an office or person adequately trained in the management of undesirable plant species to establish, develop, coordinate, and adequately fund an undesirable plants management program for control of undesirable plants on federal lands under the agency's jurisdiction. And whereas the Act describes the management process to control undesirable plants, the cooperative agreement with state entities, and authorized appropriations for budgeting. And whereas local farmers whose land is adjacent to the refuges are seeking their properties harmed by invasive noxious weeds that have spread from the refuge lands. And whereas local farmers must either pay for their own noxious weed control or incur a charge when the local weed control districts treat the noxious weeds on their lands. Now therefore be it resolved by the Senate of the 70th General Assembly of the State of Colorado, the House of Representatives concurring herein, that we, the General Assembly, desire to bring to the attention of the United States Department of the Interior, the Bureau of Land Management, and the United States Fish and Wildlife Service the problem of invasive noxious weeds spreading throughout and beyond the aforementioned refuges. 2, request that the federal agencies allow a request for proposal contract between the NWR and a licensed commercial applicator weed control subcontractor in order to resolve the matter. Suggest that the federal government provide appropriate funding to adequately control the current amount of noxious weeds, and establish adequate funding for future noxious weed control.
Representative Vigil.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This resolution is not designed to poke the federal government in the eye, but to really remind them that they have a duty to respect private farmers, our roadways, and other infrastructures that we have around the state of Colorado. Because if you get a vehicle in to a place that has noxious weeds and you happen to get all those seeds and other, I guess, particles that can start the noxious weed. We have ironweed in the San Luis Valley. It's so thick and so prolific that you know, it ruins fields at a time. And a lot of that comes from places that have not been treated. Our farmers and ranchers are stewards of the land, and they try to take care of that. And I think the federal government also needs to do that, because it's not right. We have a state budget that deals with noxious weeds, but we don't have enough money to deal with it. So we need to mitigate some of those problems by being able to take care of those weeds that just, we have a problem with water, and we don't have enough water to even to take care of what we need. And then these weeds are taking up a lot of the water that we could use for other beneficial uses. So, folks, I just want to remind you that this is a big problem in our farmlands and in our area, and not only in the San Luis Valley, but all over the United States. So with that, I ask that you support this resolution.
Further discussion on SJR 20. Please proceed, Representative Quorum.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Representative Vigil, thank you very much for bringing this resolution, and I am strong support of SJR 20. Unfortunately, the amendment, the resolution, does not go far enough in my mind, because as Representative Vigil said, this is a huge issue in rural Colorado. Noxious weeds are basically choking out a lot of the other vegetation. It's reducing feed for livestock and our wildlife. But in my district, we're over 70% federal, state, or tribal loaned. And in my own situation, we have property on the Dolores River surrounded by BLM. And we go in spring and fall, and we spend hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars trying to control the weeds on our property. Yet at the property line, which is owned by the federal government, nothing is happening. And that is the seed source. For that, it's not only does it blow onto our property, but it also gets into the waterways, moves downstreams, and in our situation, it has created a severe problem, not only in our area, but throughout western Colorado, Utah, following the Colorado River. So it's time that we encourage our partners on these federal lands to stand up and give us the support that we need to control these noxious weeds, because the health and environment of our public lands is important. We believe that public lands belong to all of us. They're not federal lands. They're lands that are held in trust by the federal government, and we need to be more involved with the management. They need to be coordinating with us to control this serious, serious problem. Representative Vihel, thank you very much.
Representative Brown.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Representative Vihel, for bringing this resolution. If you own land, you're required to control the weeds on your land. But we have the federal government, and the federal government doesn't do that. We've got wilderness areas. We've got wilderness study areas. We've got wild and scenic rivers. We have national monuments. We have BLM, Forest Service, national refuges, and I don't know what else. And the federal government does not do a good job of managing those lands. And the weeds proliferate on those lands, and they don't stay on those lands. They move over to private land. This is a good resolution, and I ask that for an aye vote on this resolution. Thank you again, Representative Vihel.
Is there further discussion on SJR 20? Seeing none, is there objection to taking a voice vote on SJR 20? Seeing none, all those in favor of the adoption of SJR 20, please say aye. Aye. Those no. SJR 20 is adopted. We will open the machine for co-sponsors.
Close the machine. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of Senate Joint Resolution 002.
Senate Joint Resolution 2 by Senators Baumgardner and Merrifield, also Representatives Hamner and Thurlow, concerning the recognition of Colorado firefighters killed in the line of duty.
Representative Hamner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. I move Senate Joint Resolution 2 and ask that it be read at length.
Whereas More than 12,000 career and volunteer firefighters comprise the Colorado Fire Service. And whereas personnel of the Colorado Fire Service respond to more than 500,000 calls for help each year, often placing themselves directly in harm's way for the safety of others. And whereas fire services personnel are often the first to respond to an emergency, whether it involves a fire, medical emergency, spill of hazardous materials, natural disaster, act of terrorism, or transportation accident. And whereas approximately 100 fire and emergency services personnel die annually in the line of duty in the United States. And whereas most recently the following firefighters have given their lives in service of the people of Colorado: Richard Lee Marchman, a volunteer firefighter for the Indian Peaks Fire Protection District, collapsed and died on July 9, 2014 after assisting in the rescue of a hiker with a broken ankle. Willard Clapper, a volunteer firefighter for the Aspen Fire Protection District, died on October 16, 2014 after battling lymphoma, which was determined to be line of duty under Colorado's presumptive cancer law. John Whalen, a firefighter from the Denver Fire Department, died on July 16, 2015 from injuries sustained during firefighting activities. Craig Moylanen, a firefighter with the North Metro Fire Rescue District and formerly of the Foothills Fire Protection District, died on October 8, 2015 after a 2-year battle with cancer. And whereas the Colorado Fallen Firefighters Memorial in Lakewood contains the names of 145 firefighters who have fallen while working to protect lives and property in Colorado. Now therefore be it resolved by the Senate of the 70th General Assembly of the State of Colorado, the House of Representatives concurring herein, that we, the members of the Colorado General Assembly, honor and pay tribute to the ultimate sacrifice paid by these fallen firefighters and express our sympathy to the families and friends of those service members who have died.
Representative Hamner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. And Representative Thurlow and I are members of the Wildfire Matters Interim Committee. And we voted as a committee to bring this resolution forward this year because we think it's just critically important to recognize these people who put their lives at risk, and in the case of the resolution today, offer the ultimate sacrifice in order to protect our safety and our well-being. So I stand in strong support of this resolution. When we get to introductions, there are members of the families and others who are here today to be part of this resolution and to be honored and recognized.
Representative Thurlow.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Thank you, Representative Hamner. Thank you, members. It has been a privilege to be on the Wildlife Matters Committee and get involved a little bit in the firefighting and talk about the issues and meet some of the people that are involved. As you heard in the resolution, we have 12,000 career and volunteer firefighters in Colorado. And those are the people that run towards the fire instead of away from the fire, sometimes carrying 50 to 75 pounds of equipment and supplies. And most of us hope that in an emergency, maybe we would have the bravery to do that, but those people do it every day. They do it as part of their job. So it is an honor to be part of this resolution honoring them. I think we can thank them for doing that, and it's never an adequate thank you, but this tribute and this day, which is First Responders Day at the Capitol, is an effort to honor them for their service to Colorado. So thank you.
Representative Hamner.
And thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. We do have the daughter of Willard Clapper here today, but the family had hoped to be here. They're not able to be here, and they asked me to read a statement to you from the family of Tom Clapper and from Tom Clapper and the family. And so with your permission, I'd like to do that. It's addressed to the members of the Colorado State Senate and to the members of the Colorado State House of Representatives. On behalf of the Tom Clapper family, I'd like to thank from the bottom of my heart the members of the State Senate and the members of the State House of Representatives for recognizing and honoring Willard Clapper. Willard served on the Aspen Volunteer Fire Department for 35 years, following in the footsteps of his father, Willard Clapper Sr., who was part of the department for 25 years. For many years, both Willards, along with Dale, Tommy, and Jay Clapper, were all Aspen volunteer firemen at the same time. This was when the department was locally known as the Clapper Volunteer Fire Department. Willard Jr.'s memorial service was held at the Aspen Fire Department and was attended by over 1,000 people with representatives from first responder organizations from across the state. Therefore, his being recognized and honored as part of Senate Joint Resolution 2 is truly benefiting of his service and of his life. Again, with most heartfelt thanks, sincerely, Tom Clapper and his family.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Joint Resolution 002? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of Senate Joint Resolution 002. Seeing no objection to a voice vote, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Senate Joint Resolution 002 passes. Representative Thurlow.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. I move that the roll call be added as co-sponsors to the resolution.
Seeing no objection, the current roll call will be added as co-sponsors to the resolution. Representative Hamner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem and colleagues. As I mentioned, we do have some people who are here in honor of this resolution and in some cases representing the family. I'd like to introduce them to you and welcome them to the House floor this morning. I'd also like to start by thanking Director Paul Cook for helping us get this organized. Representative Thurlow and I realize it wasn't an easy feat, but he made this happen, and we really appreciate his work pulling this together. This morning we have Chief Eric Tade. He's with the Denver Fire Department. He's here on behalf of John Whalen. We also have Chief Dave Ramos. He's with the North Metro Fire Department. He's here honoring Craig Molaman. We also have from the Fallen Firefighters Foundation, Chief Jerry Rhodes with the Cunningham Fire Protection District in Denver. We also have Deputy Chief Rob Jones with the Colorado River Fire District in Rifle. We have a family member, Ashley Austin. She's the daughter of Willard Clapper and is with the Aspen Fire Protection District. Members, please join me in welcoming these guests this morning. Thank you. Looks like we have others that I didn't.
Representative Thurlow.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. And I just wanted to call to the attention of all the members that Director Cook is retiring this year. Director Cook has spent many years in service to the state of Colorado, and he's taken the department from a transition into not really being a department to being in the forefront of firefighting in the western states. So we thank Director Cook for his service.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you on behalf of the Colorado House of Representatives for your service to the people of Colorado. The next order of business is announcements and introductions. Any final announcements or introductions for the body?
Okay, no.
The House will be in a brief recess.
Over here quickly, but we want to make sure that the people that are still here come to the House floor, so I move a call to the House.
1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. More than a call of the House has been requested and has been sustained. Mr. Kohler. Do something. Yes.
Beth McCann is excused too.
Oh, I forgot that I had.
Yeah. Well, I did this to Beth last year.
Oh, kind of heavy.
I had a meeting.
It is feels really heavy.
I've been meeting to.
Rankin excused. Court excused.
Representatives Buck, Del Grosso, Humphrey, Joshi, Kagan, Landgraf, Lee, Lundin, Nordberg, Pedersen, Sane, Sias, Tyler, Van Winkle, Willett, Williams, Wilson, Windholz, and Winter.
You did a pretty good job, you know? Thanks. Appreciate that. The long bill, that was
Barely got started. Didn't even get warmed up.
So what did you say about the pages that have numbers on it?
I was like, there's a table. The table has some headings. There's some numbers in the table.
You were so funny when he said how did he say? I do my damn. So I moved that to book. You read it like you grabbed it with this hand. You grabbed it.
Just look in your rearview mirror. That's what you'll see. Do we have the resolution? Yeah, do we have it?
Okay, perfect.
Oh, no, I'm another
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. I lift the call of the House.
Call to House has been raised. Message from the Senate.
Madam Speaker, the Senate has adopted and transmits herewith Senate Joint Resolution 26 as amended.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. I move that we suspend the rules for the immediate consideration of SJR 26.
Seeing no objection, the rules will be suspended to hear HJR 0 SJR 26. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of SJR 26.
Senate Joint Resolution 26 by Senators Sheffel and Garcia, also Representatives Lawrence and McCann, concerning the designation of First Responder Appreciation Day.
Representative Lawrence.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Resolution SJR 16-026 and ask that it be read.
Whereas first responders risk their own safety and personal property in the execution of their duties to protect the public on a daily basis. And whereas first responders are the first line of defense for the public against threats both domestic and foreign. And whereas first responders stand at the ready to come to the aid of the citizens of the United States of America 24 hours a day. And whereas first responders are a vital part of our communities, not only standing ready to deal with emergencies, but also volunteering in our schools and community organizations. And whereas individuals, both career and volunteer, including police, fire, emergency, medical services, search and rescue, and other organizations in the public safety sector, come together as a collective to aid the public in the event of an emergency. And whereas Colorado joins the following states in designating September 27th as First Responder Appreciation Day: Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Arizona, Delaware, Illinois, Iowa, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Missouri, Montana, Nevada, New Mexico, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Vermont, Virginia, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. And whereas the Colorado General Assembly wishes to honor and support all first responders with an annual day of appreciation, now therefore be it resolved by the Senate of the 70th General Assembly, the State of Colorado, the House of Representatives concurring herein, that we, the members of the Colorado General Assembly, designate September 27, 2016 as First Responder Appreciation Day, that we recognize and honor the actions of first responders who performed heroic actions in the line of duty or went above and beyond the call of duty, including paramedic Robert Bob Marlin, South Metro Fire Rescue, Chief Carl Tatum, Hanover Fire Protection District, Captain Dan Rhoda, Fire Inspector, Evergreen Fire Rescue, Lion Ambulance Service, Tim Dinst, CEO, Ute Pass Regional Emergency Medical Services, Greg Foley, Grand County Search and Rescue and the Mountain Rescue Association, Captain Eric Barber, Grand County EMS, Tactical Officers Robert Wolf and Dan Carter, K-9 Officer John Ford and Patrol Officer Mike Zamonis, Colorado Springs Police Department, Chief Jack Lee, Paradox Fire Department, Dispatcher Cindy Link, Teller County Sheriff's Office, Captain Tom Ruing, Lieutenants Chris Sopp, Brian Myers, and Steve Winters, and firefighters Jeremy Coons, Jamie Gutchick, Mike Paletta, Justin Siak, Landon Mauk, Chris Villegas, Bo Hutchinson, Andrew Lowe, Craig Stalloway, Eric Long, Cameron Halverson, and Brian Coons, Colorado Springs Fire Department, Deputy Jeffrey Brunko of the Boulder County Sheriff's Office, Lieutenant Brian King, Engineer Michael DeTola, and firefighters Nicholas Coster and Christopher Rathburn, Denver Fire Department, Dr. Robert Morrow, Walsh Ambulance Service, Officers Melissa Manzanares, Ryan Beal, Mark Donahue, and Bob Wilson, and Dispatcher Mark Derham, Golden Police Department, Deputies Stephen Pike and Christopher Caro, Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, Lieutenant Tony Russell, Hot Sulphur Springs Fire Department, Robert Good and Janine Goutreau, AMR, Colorado Springs, El Paso County, EMT Nicole Richards, Kit Carson County Ambulance Service, and paramedic Chad Bauer, Ute Pass Regional Emergency Medical Services. That we recognize and honor the first responders who died in the line of duty, including Deputy Derek Gear, Mesa County Sheriff's Office, Officer Garrett Swayze, University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, Trooper Jamie Yursevics, Colorado State Patrol, Corporal Nate Kerrigan, Park County Sheriff's Office, Trooper Taylor Joseph Thifault, Colorado State Patrol, Deputy Sheriff Travis Russell, Los Animas County Sheriff's Office, and Deputy Sean Renfro, Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. that we recognize and honor the first responders who were injured in the line of duty, including Officer Tony Lopez Jr., Denver Police Department, Officer Rachel Eade, Denver Police Department, Technician John Ruddy, Denver Police Department, Master Patrol Deputy Colby Martin, Park County Sheriff's Office, Captain Mark Hancock, Park County Sheriff's Office, Trooper Clint Rushing, Colorado State Patrol, and Deputy Sheila Kieran, Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, and that we recognize and honor all first responders who put their lives on the line daily to serve and protect the people of Colorado.
Representative Lawrence.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I'm not sure if everyone is aware of the origin of First Responders Day, so I'm just going to give you a little bit of background. This started with the I Love You Guys Foundation. On September 27, 2006, 53-year-old Dwayne Roger Morrison walked into Platte Canyon High School in Bailey, Colorado, took 6 female students hostage, and sexually assaulted them. He let 4 of the girls go before police stormed the classroom he was in. Using the remaining 2 girls as shields, Morrison shot at police, then shot and killed one of the girls, 16-year-old junior Emily Keys, before taking his own life. As Emily was being held hostage by a gunman in the last hours of her life, she tapped out the text messages to her family that said, "I love you guys," and "I love you guys," okay? As part of the enormous outpouring of grief over the incident and support for the families involved, a motorcycle ride was planned from Columbine High School to Platte Canyon High School. This ride planted the seed that would become the I Love You Guys Foundation, founded by Emily's parents, John Michael and Ellen Keys. Their mission is to restore and protect the joy of youth through educational programs and positive actions in collaboration with families, schools, communities, organizations, and government entities. Proceeds from the first ride were used to research and develop a standardized institutional safety plan, the Standard Response Protocol, or SRP. With the support of school administrators, safety officers, and first responders, the foundation has trained and implemented the SRP in 79% of Colorado schools. First Responder Appreciation Day also takes part of its history from another girl that was taken hostage in the Platte Canyon High School classroom that day. She was a foreign exchange student hosted by Tim Gregg's family. His own daughter was in Denver on a field trip and wasn't in school when the shooting took place. For Tim, the hostage crisis and shooting was an eye-opening experience. There have been other experiences in my life where I felt as a citizen almost helpless, Tim said. The shooting showed me firsthand how all these different organizations come together. They're always there, but in the background, and we as citizens often don't get a chance to thank them after an incident. These people are out there every day defending us against any type of thing that might go wrong. My motivation is to try to help people proactively think about our first responders, to set aside a day to really think about them instead of just when we're in one of life's unfortunate situations. Tim has been working for several years now to create a national First Responder Appreciation Day on September 27th to help the public become more aware of the issues facing first responders and how the public can help first responders do their jobs more easily. Governor Ritter made Colorado the first state in the nation to proclaim a First Responder Appreciation Day on September 27th, 2010. Beginning in 2011, Tim embraced the idea and we have honored the sponsors with this resolution each year. Members, I think the history of this resolution certainly lays out the fact that in most instances, we don't think about the first responders. They're there. We always know they're there. If we're going to call 911, someone will come and answer our call for help. But this is a really important resolution. And I met some women from California who are moving here to start a training center. And when I was talking to them downstairs at the breakfast, they thanked me for being a sponsor of this resolution, because in California, first responders aren't recognized. They really appreciate the fact that Colorado has stepped up to recognize the hard work and dedication of first responders across the state. And quite honestly, I hadn't thought about that other states weren't doing the same thing. But I think, again, it's something that's in the background. You know that all these people are here, and you can see them sitting on the side of the chamber. But how often do we take the time to thank them? I know in my own family, when my dad passed away of a very sudden heart attack, and the first responders were there, and unfortunately they couldn't save him. You know, my mom sent me to the fire station the next day with a box of candy to thank them. And the people in that station were shocked that someone had come by to thank them for their efforts, even though they weren't successful. And they're not always going to be successful, but they're always going to be there. So for that reason, I am so proud to be a sponsor of this resolution, to recognize the fact that the state of Colorado appreciates the time, the effort, the training, the dedication that first responders bring to every situation that they respond to.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Joint Resolution 26? Representative Fields.
Thank you, Speaker Pro Tem, and thank you, Representative McCann in her absence, and Representative Lawrence for bringing this resolution to honor and to celebrate first responders. And it's good to see you here every year, because every time you're here, I know that throughout that 365 days that you have probably saved someone's life, and you've probably touched someone, and you've made some significant sacrifices and some contributions to our state. So I just wanted to say thank you. I'm in gratitude for all that you do, because you put your life on the line. And when you do that, you're also putting your family's life on the line. And I don't think that we should take that lightly. Because what you do for us every day, you ensure our safety in our homes, our safety at our jobs, even here at the state capitol. We could be just driving down the street, or we could be walking down the street. But when we need help, it is a first responder that comes to our aid when we make that call. So when I think about you putting your life on the line for your duty, for what you do, it takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of sacrifice, and it takes honor. So I just want you to know that we all appreciate all that you do in the state of Colorado. Thank you so very much.
Representative Buck.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I concur and absolutely stand here in support of this resolution. I just could not allow time to go on without acknowledging in a big way. My favorite is the Glen Haven Area Volunteer Fire Department and the Larimer County Sheriff's Department. They did an incredible job during the floods that we had in the Glen Haven and the Estes Park area. So I just want to give a shout out to them and thank you so much for all the first responders. Thank you.
Representative Carver.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With the chair's permission, there was a name of a first responder who was inadvertently left out of the resolution, and I would like to move an amendment.
Representative Carver, go ahead and move your amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is Amendment L002 to SJR 16-026.
The amendment
I
has
beg your
been-
pardon. I move L002 as an amendment to SJR 16-026.
The amendment has been moved. L002 is properly displayed. To the amendment, Representative Carver.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, this is simply to insert and recognize the name of Sergeant Jason Hess of the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, who was a first responder and died in the line of duty. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on L002? Okay. Seeing none, the question before us is L002. Seeing no objection to a voice vote, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. L002 is adopted. We are back to the resolution. Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. This resolution is very personal to me, and I want to thank you, Representative Lawrence, for bringing it. I love you guys started in my district. I'm one of the few in this chamber that knew Emily Keys through my coaching and my radio broadcasting and being there at the school. First responders are the first that we call, and unfortunately, as in the case of just recently Corporal Nate Kerrigan, also from my district, and so many others, they're among the first to fall. The attitude that first responders have is amazing to me. A good friend of mine, who's since passed, was taken prisoner in World War II in the Battle of the Bulge. He was a medic. He won 2 Bronze Stars. He never talked about it with his family, and his wife Nola and his daughter Becky said, "Jim, you're a good friend with Chuck. Why don't you ask him how he won those Bronze Stars?" So one day when we were out fishing, I said, "Junior, how'd you win those Bronze Stars?" He says, "Doing what medics do." That is the attitude of our first responders. Just doing what they do. And in this case of terrorism, first responders are placed at even more risk each and every day. Thank you for what you do and for being there when we can't.
Representative Lawrence.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. How do I wind this up? I don't think we have any further discussion, so I would just ask for an aye vote on Senate Joint Resolution 26.
All right, from your lips to the representative's ears. Seeing no further discussion on Senate Joint Resolution 26, the question before us is the passage of Senate Joint Resolution 26. Seeing no objection to a voice vote, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Senate Joint Resolution 26 is passed. Representative Lawrence.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. I would ask that today's roll call be added as co-sponsors.
Seeing no objection, the current roll call will be added as co-sponsors to Senate Joint Resolution 26. Representative Lawrence.
Thank you again. And I would just like to take a moment to introduce some of the folks who are here attending this. I know they spent a long time in the Senate because they talk a lot more than the people in the House. Well, you know, they wake up from their naps and they're very chatty. So I just want to recognize a few of the attendees who are from my district. I have the Ute Pass Regional Emergency Medical Services CEO, Tim Dienst. If you would stand up, Tim. He's been a leader in national and Colorado advocacy for EMS agencies, and in addition to his success creating the Ute Pass Regional Health Services District, he is president of the Colorado EMS Chiefs, Managers, and Directors section of the Emergency Medical Services Association of Colorado, and he chairs its advocacy committee. He has also worked on a national association of EMTs, and they've recognized him for his outstanding leadership on the EMS field bill, which is in Congress. So thank you for being here today. And if you ever have questions about EMS services, Tim is the guy to go to, and he is up here on a pretty regular basis. I'm really proud to have him in my district. I'd also like to recognize Cindy Link, Teller County Sheriff Dispatcher. She's entering her 14th year in the Teller County Sheriff's Department, and as a trainer, she reinforces in the dispatchers the thought that they need to avoid saying, "I'm just a dispatcher," but to rather say with pride, "I am a dispatcher." The dispatch center is the hub of emergency services, and dispatchers are the first responders who can make a difference in someone's life. Cindy demonstrates her dedication to the dispatch profession daily with professionalism and knowledge for all calls she has received, whether it's a barking dog or someone not breathing. So I'd like to recognize her and the time and effort that she has spent training and maintaining the professionalism of the dispatchers. If she can't cross over. So members, I would just ask before we leave for the day, if you would take a moment and thank our first responders who are here for their time, the energy, the dedication that they give everyone in Colorado, and thank you for your response to this resolution.
Thank you, Representative Lawrence. And I think we will take a brief recess very quickly as soon as we're done with introductions. Representative Esgar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. And I'm not sure if he made it over here from the Senate or not, but I would like to take a moment to welcome our fire chief from Pueblo, Sean Shelton. I'm short, so if you're in here, I can't see you.
Representative Mitch Bush.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. I'd like to give a big welcome and a shout out to Britta Horn, who is the chief of the Rock Creek Emergency Services and Fire, and that's in a pretty darn remote area, and she has a tough row to hoe, and boy, does she do it.
Is there any further announcements or introductions of our guests? On behalf of the Colorado House of Representatives, to the first responders here today, thank you for your service every day to our community and to the people of Colorado. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Members, you are free to go. I move that the House stand in recess until 12:05.
The House will be in recess until 12:01 p.m.
The House will come back to order. Printing report.
Chief Clerk reports following
Printing
bills.
report will be printed in the Journal. Signing of bills, resolutions, and memorials.
Speaker has signed.
Signing of bills, resolutions, and memorials will be printed in the Journal, and I think that's it. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House stand in adjournment until Monday, April 4th at 10 a.m.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh, I guess not. I withdraw that motion.
Okay. We'll have a motion to recess again.
Thank you. All right. I move that the House stand in recess until when are we going to be ready, Ian, for?
Motion is that the House stand in recess till later today. Seeing no objection, so ordered. you.